Feature and a Short.
Hi, welcome to Feature and a Short, a monthly podcast hosted by Fourwind Films, where a appointed contributor presents their chosen feature motion picture and a short movie. There's only one condition for the screening selection, that the presenter must have been directly involved with one picture, but not the other. This month, after a long hiatus, we'd like to say hello. We went off and shot a short film entitled Prologue, and we were finishing post-production in another film, Abuela's Luck, which happens to be the film that Gary Jaquez, our presenter this week, brought to share with us as his short. For his feature, he brought Children of Men. Fourwind Film shot Abuela's Luck here in Brooklyn at a bodega. And so during the event, we had bodega food scattered around the viewing area, and that included Ho-Ho's, Little Debbie's, fried plantains, different things that you'd find in a Brooklyn bodega. We also had the beer Presidente, which makes it a prominent first appearance in Abuela's Luck. Gary Jaquez works with Fourwind Films often and is a director of photography. We had a discussion on what it was like to shoot the film, difficulties that Gary ran through, and working with director and producer Ricky Rosario. We had a lot of people who worked on the film in attendance, as this was the first private screening.
And a little backstory about the film. Ricky and I are both of Dominican descent. Both our parents are from over there, and this is very much like a day in the life of going in and out of the bodega and what the bodega represents to the community. I personally have about 6 or 7 uncles and my grandfather who have owned their own bodegas, and yeah, it's just very common. Here, 2 of them were in Manhattan, 2 were here in Brooklyn, and 1 in Jersey. So, yeah, bodegas are very much like a way to success in the eyes of a Dominican immigrant coming to this country. So, I am. I've been there since Abuela's Luck was just a Venn diagram.
When was that?
Man, maybe a year and a half ago already. Yeah, it was quite the process. So I guess the toughest part was wearing as many hats as I had to wear, being as, Ricky and I, we go way back. We've known each other since before high school. I'm a cinematographer, and that's my main focus, but I played many roles on this film. And in doing so, you spread yourself thin. I was picking up gear and shot listing and then getting something for production design. I came about a week and a half prior to principal photography, and that was the first time I saw the location. The interesting story is that we're on our second day of production, and it's about 1 p.m. We're scheduled to shoot till about 6, and a guy shows up, and he tells us, he says, "Hey, I own this building. Nobody's paid me for any of this. So unless you want me to show up with cops by 3 p.m., either you're all out of here or you pay me X amount of dollars." I forget exactly the figure, but it was a couple thousand. Mind you, we had already paid the bodega, the people who actually leased the spot. But yeah, apparently, because he owns a building, he was the one who had the rights to the money, whatever. We ended up trying to fight it a little bit, and clock was ticking, so we ended up having to find the money. We figured it out, we kept going, we pushed forward, and we got it done.
The film ended up, it looks very green, and
Green? What do you mean?
like it just has a green.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not so much the lights, and I noticed even shooting, just seeing like the Rec 709
But the skins
image.
look great.
Right, so that's and it was shot on an Alexa. Like skin tones are amazing on Alexa.
Yeah. Okay,
So what I chalked it up to was just the potato chip bags, and obviously a lot of that stuff is very poppy. It's greens and reds and oranges, and I noticed that overwhelmingly it was green. But Alexas in general don't have a green tint, so I'm gonna chalk that up to location. And Ricky and I both from the beginning, we pretty much agreed that like we really wanted to capture the feel of a bodega, like he really wanted it poppy like that. He wanted a location that was gonna, every angle you look, everybody was just gonna be engulfed. Cause that's, when you go to a bodega, every little corner of the bodega, there's something there that's for sale, whether it's shampoo, deodorant, detergent, food, potato chips, salami. Like there's everything in a bodega that you can even think of. So
Did you guys change out any of the lighting in the bodega itself, or did you just add to it?
I added to it. If it were up to me, we would have shut everything off in the bodega. Just
That's hard with.
right, but that's just not realistic. So I shut them off when I could, and I supplemented that stuff with. I had an HMI outside, an Aladdin, which is a small LED that's nice on skin tones. We had that right behind the cash register to pretty much act as daylight. So yeah, a little bit of both.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I did. You actually see it in the movie, but
really?
I've asked plenty of people and nobody could tell what it is, and I'm like, it looks like just a piece of window sunlight coming in, but it's a light.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And honestly, the whole shutting of the lights, that was never planned. That scene we were shooting on our second day, and we're on our way home, and I'm trying to think like, how could we make this a little better, just so it's different, just so we have a little separation. And I'm like, okay, if I'm a thief, it's the middle of the day, kind of makes sense. Like, hey, shut the fucking lights off. You know what I'm saying? So we ran with it. He loved it right away. We had him do it the bodeguero. We had him do it in sections from where I was back there with the camera on top of that ladder. So it just went boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Just to kind of like guide us into what was going on. So that was kind of my idea. It was like, just have like the light or the lack of light, the lights going off, guide us to like the shit that's going down. Then boom, we cut right into like a slider of us going into them silhouetted a bit, which was probably my favorite shot. Yeah. Do I get to ask any questions?
Yeah. What questions you want to ask?
Cool. All right, Justin. So, from an editing perspective, what was your favorite part to edit? What part were you editing and you said, "Oh wow"?
Well, definitely when you have the more angles. So when the lights turned off, it's probably more exciting. The worst part though was when it went to the black and came up. That was a little confusing.
That actually, congrats to you guys. I didn't know that was gonna happen, and I thought that worked great. To be honest, he told me, I want to shoot this at a higher frame rate. I want to do slow motion when the gun comes to his head, and I fought him on that. It's just at the time I could not visualize it. Kudos to you, Ricky. Kudos to Ricky. Because I could not see it. Just with the sound design that you guys got going on, and also props to the sound mixer, right? The music.
Yeah, that's Josh Heilbronner.
The music that came in and everything was just how I'm happy to be wrong. Yeah.
But where did the music come from?
Ricky had it all made. Well, he licensed two, but they was from the same artist that composed it. So those are original songs.
Yeah.
And then he licensed the last.
Which are very
song.
they're actually a group that's very common amongst the Dominican community here in New York, New Jersey.
Max
And
Banda?
how do you know?
Because I edited the film.
Oh, okay. Is that what you did? So Max Banda, very popular amongst the Dominican community. It was very nice of them to I guess help push the culture forward. I got a question for you, Daria. What was your favorite part about the titles?
I like Ricky's vision. I mean, I think he really had a clear vision on how they should look like.
Yeah.
And
He did.
I tried to suggest like something else, but he was very clear.
That's so funny. I did too. I was like, "What do you mean you want bubbles, man? How old are you?" But no, it came out. It came out really good, man. And stuff that people don't even catch, like the radio announcer in the back.
Yeah,
that's my cousin Billy.
Oh, it's your cousin. That's
my cousin Billy and our friend Phil, who was actually the person I moved out to California with.
Wait, they did the pop-up text. Yeah.
Oh yeah, those were awesome.
Yeah,
I
they're
love when movies use that.
I think
Such an amazing way to show text message.
I
I hate seeing a shot of a phone.
I think we used inspiration, high maintenance.
Yes, and I know the creative.
After
the discussion, Gary introduced Children of Men, directed by Alfonso Cuarón, who often works with the famous director of photography, Emmanuel Lubezki. Children of Men is especially famous for the cinematography and the use of long takes. There's a famous sequence in the film that is one shot. Emmanuel Lubezki did not win the Oscar for this film, but with his unique style, and this was sort of the launching pad for that style,
he ended up winning 2 Oscars in the future as the director of photography.
So I chose Children of Men because it's actually one of my favorite films, particularly because of the cinematography on this thing. So, little backstory, when I moved to California, my first day at Panavision, who's prepping for their next movie is the one, the only.
Really?
Yeah. So, and mind you, I was already a big fan. So I see him, and I'm like, no way, no fucking way.
Do you know his name?
The DP is called Emmanuel Lubezki, but they call him Chivo Lubezki. That's his nickname. They're all Mexican, all 3 of them. They kind of grew up together, came up together. They went to film school in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Inarritu's, he's the one who did like Birdman. And Cuarón, I think, did this one, and he also did like Gravity. But yeah, he pretty much works like exclusively with them, yeah. But yeah, so I started this job at Panavision. I was skeptical going in, and then I see this guy, I'm like, okay, I'm where I need to be. Because this is already a guy that I study, and here he is testing lenses for his upcoming movie, The Revenant. And I guess maybe I'm a little biased because there's just not a lot of Latino cinematographers, so I'm drawn to that, but that's just the talking point because at the end of the day, he's awesome. He's awesome. And this movie that's already 12 years old will show you that he's not joking around. He wasn't joking around 20. It didn't take, The Revenant, deciding to shoot everything in natural light and 12 mil lenses. It wasn't that made him great. Like, he's been awesome. And even before this, I believe he also shot Y Tu Mamá También, right? Back then he was more longer lens. Now, as of recent, is more wider.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which he'll showcase in things like The Revenant. He doesn't like to do interviews, so it's kind of hard to really dive into his head. But the times that he has, he's, especially in regards to the wide angle stuff, he feels it's very intimate. You're very intimate with the.
That's what the directors who I work with, who are also cinematographers, Veritan, they say the same thing.
Yeah.
They love it. And
Yeah.
I mean, they live off of it.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah. Which is interesting to me because I wouldn't naturally gravitate towards that because of what wide angles does to faces. It really kind of distorts the face and whatnot. But the proof is in the pudding. It works because he's amazing and he has Oscars to prove it. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive in.
As food is pretty scarce in the world of Children of Men, during the film we brought out some peanuts, but we also had a whiskey and coffee mix that we enjoyed, just as Clive Owen's character enjoyed during the film, in addition to some white and red wine. After Children of Men finished, we had a quick discussion and reaction to what we just saw.
The immigrants, they just do big don't make no sense. The immigrants, they just do big don't make no sense. The immigrants, they just do make no sense.
Thank you so much for listening. If you would like to see Abuela's Luck, a film that we executive produced at Fourwind Films for yourself, it is going to be playing in film festivals. To get more information, the best way is either follow Fourwind Films on our social media. It is FOURWIND FILMS. So you can follow Fourwind Films, or you can follow Abuela's Luck on Instagram. That is ABUELASLUCK. And those will have all the information for future viewings for the short film. Please leave us a review wherever you listen to this podcast. We'll be broadcasting out to you in the future. Thank you very much for listening.